Hi guys, thanks for joining Sport Brothers. I'm Tulsa McLean, and today I am joined by five-time Scrabble champion Stan Chambers. How are you today, Stan?
Good, Tulsa. Thanks
Great to
for
see
having
you.
me.
Glad, thanks for joining the show today. Today's show's all about the Rams. Love the hat, and let's get started. LA Rams. I don't know if you saw this. I think it happened last night or at joint practices. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Rams, the
Yeah,
Super Bowl rematch, and there was a scuffle. There was a fight. Did you see it on TV?
I did. I did. I saw, Aaron Donald, man, he's ready for the
Wow.
season to start. I didn't see exactly what happened, but all I know is he emerged from the scrum holding two
Yes,
Bengals
I was gonna
helmets in
say
his hand.
he was holding it like a anvil, and I don't know if you're like me, but if I was standing there without my helmet, I would probably be in the hospital now because he was bashing people. He was using it like a battering ram. You see what
Yeah,
did there?
yeah. Were there heads in the helmets? Were there
I
heads
don't
in the
know. Could have
helmets?
been. Could have been. I mean, I got two questions for you. Is Aaron Donald a jerk? And would you say it to his face?
No, he's not a jerk. No, he's just an intense. Of course, he's on my team. I'm glad he's on my team. But no, he's not a jerk. He's a fired up defensive lineman. I mean, he's the best in the game, and on the field. I mean, he's an animal. He's a beast. But I don't consider somebody a jerk until they do something off the field that's uncalled for. But no, this is. I mean, you see this in preseason all around the league. These fights blowing up, and you saw it on Hard Knocks, right, with Detroit, and they were telling them don't get in fights, and they were playing Indianapolis and got into a fight, and it's just these guys are so wound up right now. They're waiting for the season to start, and Aaron Donald, yeah, he doesn't apologize to anybody. He just goes out and he plays like a man possessed. I'm glad he's on
Yeah,
my
I
team.
hear you. He's a beast. I wish he was on my team, but man, when I saw that, I was like, look out. Like, if I was standing there and I didn't have my helmet on, oh my God, you would have taken my head clean off. I would have been scared. Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking about it, like, the joint practices, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, especially putting the Super Bowl rematch together like that. Like, it's gonna get
That's gonna get
right?
really
And
physical.
this is going to happen all the time. And can you imagine, like back in the day, guys having joint practices? I mean, you're like sworn enemies on the field. Like imagine Lawrence Taylor, or the '85 Bears, or somebody having to have joint practices. It just wouldn't work. Like they'd kill each other. Like
No, they hate each other. Yeah, these teams hate. I mean, especially the Bengals and the Rams with the way that game went down. I mean, there is definitely some bad blood between these teams. I mean, and Aaron Donald, the way he ended that game, I mean, man, that's a long off season for Joe Burrow and the rest of the
yeah,
Bengals, right? I mean, that was. I mean, that one play was just, as a Rams fan, I don't know if there's a better, maybe you have the Mike Jones tackle in 2000, but I mean, as far as the best Rams play of all time, that was absolutely top of the list for me. I mean, and so these teams, I mean, they hate each other, and
yeah.
that's football.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the way
fun
it
to
goes.
watch. I mean, I don't. Hopefully, he doesn't get in any sort of disciplinary trouble over this, and they don't blow it up too big. But it's fun to watch. I'm just glad my head wasn't sitting out there without my helmet because I could see it was a Bengals helmet in his hand, which begs the question: what the hell happened, right?
Right,
But it's fun to
exactly.
watch. Well, who really watches preseason football? But I'm ready for the season to start, and that's got me pumped. And look, the Rams should be pretty good again this year. How happy are you that they are defending Super Bowl champions?
I'm nervous. I mean, it's they've got the target on their back. I mean, I think last year was great because they kind of went under the radar. People knew they had a good team, but Matthew Stafford, there was a lot of questions about how he was going to fit into McVay's system, and Cooper Cup, and how he was going to utilize those weapons. But it all fell into place. And every week last year they weren't talking about the Rams. I was happy. I was happy because they were, they got into playoffs and they were a good team. But it was like, oh, they can't get by Green Bay. They can't get by the 49ers. They can't get by the Chiefs or Cincinnati or whoever shows up. The Bills, right? Whoever shows up
Yeah.
out of the AFC. But I mean, it just fell into place perfectly. This year, it's all going to be about injuries, right? I mean, how healthy can the Rams stay? I mean, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson. Now they've got the guy from Chicago coming back.
Allen
Uh,
Robinson.
what's his
Yeah.
name? Robinson. Yeah. I mean, on paper, the Rams just look absolutely stacked. I mean, defense. I mean, they got Bobby Wagner. You got, obviously AD. You got Leonard Floyd. You've got Greg Gaines, and then Jalen Ramsey in the backfield with Jordan Fuller and Nick Scott. I mean, on paper, the Rams just absolutely look unbeatable. But they still have to play the
Yeah.
games. They open against Buffalo, and you got Josh Allen. You got a very, very good team in Buffalo. So just take it one game at a time and see how the
Yeah, I
season
agree,
goes.
man. The Rams look really good. They were really good last year. They did lose Von Miller, but they added Bobby Wagner, so hopefully that'll be good. They did add Allen Robinson, so they kind of down a guy when OBJ went out, but he played good for him as well. Yeah, like you say, on paper they look good, and hey, the Bills are picked to win it as well, so it's going to be a great opening game. It's going to be a tough one to win, and being the defending Super Bowl champions, they always give them the hardest schedule, so it should be interesting to start the season. What do you think of the new additions? What do you think of Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner? Are you happy they're on the team?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when OBJ went down, that was a killer. And knowing Allen Robinson, he was a top, he was a number one receiver coming out of Chicago, and now he's going to be kind of a number two type receiver. So hopefully he's okay with that role because Cooper Kupp he's just a monster, right? I mean, he had a season last year like
Right.
no other wide receiver in the game ever. And but I think it's going to be you got Cooper Kupp. I mean, you got Van Jefferson. I mean, he's just an amazing downfield threat. So I'm curious to see how Allen Robinson does, but it's going to be that's a trio. That's a dangerous trio right there. Matthew Stafford's got those. He's got those weapons, and Cam Akers out of the backfield. I mean, it opens up a lot of options for McVay. Bobby Wagner, I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier with Bobby Wagner. Yeah, I mean, we, on defense, it's just we needed a strong inside middle linebacker, and Bobby Wagner. I mean, that guy is a run stopping machine, and he's also great on pass defense. And before you had Troy Reeder, who was a great tackler, but his pass defense sucked. I mean, he was a great all around football player, but Bobby Wagner, I mean, he'll be able to really stop up the middle of the field. So I'm happy with the additions they've made. And again, I think they're a hell of a lot stronger. Yeah, we lost Von Miller, but Von Miller, he did well toward the end of the season. He had a couple games where he was out. You could see he was still playing a little tentative, when he came onto the Rams last year. He wasn't as effective, I think, as everybody thought he would be. But when the playoffs came around, he played his part
Yeah,
very well.
I agree. Yeah, he was. I can't believe Buffalo gave him all that money. I mean, the guy's like 34 years old. He's got to break down at some point. There ain't no way he's going to finish that contract out. But he's a good player. He was perfect. He's just what the Rams needed at the end, wasn't he? Just like give Aaron Donald a bit of space. And,
Totally.
And they both got after the quarterback, and that was the difference. So hopefully Bobby Wagner will be the same thing for you guys this year. Cooper Kupp, my God, that guy had a season like I could only compare it to like Jerry Rice. He played unbelievable. Let's look at his stat line: 145 receptions, 1,947 yards receiving. He had 13 was his average. He had a long of 59 throughout the year, and he had 16 touchdowns. Plus, he was the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, what a flippin' amazing season, right?
And he's a
That
great
guy's
guy. He's just a good guy. He's a good person you can root for. That's what I love about this game is you get these guys. I mean, you can root for him. He's just a good, God-fearing dude, good teammate, good competitor. His ego's not all over the place. I mean, he just goes out and he just plays a hell of a game. I mean, and a couple of years ago when the Rams were in the Super Bowl, they lost. Why? Because Cooper Kupp was out. It was, yeah.
True.
So he's a.
So it's not all Jared Goff's fault?
No. Jared Goff, no. Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but he's a timing quarterback. And, when you take out that piece, that timing that he had with Cooper Kupp, his game wasn't the same. I mean, he just couldn't. And that's unfortunately what he's running into with Detroit. He needs to find that timing with the Detroit receivers. So Jared Goff is a great quarterback, but sure. he needs things to go his way. He needs he can't move. He can't move around.
He does. He's not very mobile. And he doesn't have the arm that Stafford has either.
No, he doesn't. And he just doesn't have the scrappiness. I think in this game, you got to be scrappy. I mean, you got to have a quick release. I mean, Goff just never had that quick release. And as soon as, his offensive line was banged up, toward the end of his tenure with the Rams, and then that was it for Goff. He couldn't create plays. He couldn't, prolong plays. Maybe he's just too young for that. But, quarterbacks, the ones that are scrappy, like Stafford, being able to create time in the pocket, they seem to be more successful.
Yeah, hopefully he's moved on to greener pastures. I don't know if you're watching Hard Knocks, but it's really entertaining. I love Dan Campbell. What does he say? I don't care if you got one butt cheek and 3 toes, I'll still kick your ass. That's the best line I've ever heard. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jared.
I like Dan Campbell. I don't know. He's a little too over the top. I mean, and I like that. It's a good thing. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, everyone always gets caught up in Hard Knocks, right? And then they watch and they're like, oh my God, this team's going to the Super Bowl. They ain't going to the Super Bowl. They'll be lucky if they win 6-7 games, but that'll be an improvement considering that the Lions have been terrible my entire lifetime. Last time they were good, they had Barry Sanders, right? Jared Goff, I don't know that he's going to push him over the top, but he's a serviceable quarterback. He'll do the job. And yeah, you know who Dan Campbell reminds me of? Bradley Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like a mix of Bradley Cooper with someone else. I'm not really sure.
Like Hulk Hogan.
He's definitely perfect for the camera. Like a pro wrestler. And if Bradley Cooper played a pro wrestler,
yes. That's
Dan Campbell.
That's right. That's right. The guy is massive. He's a massive dude. He's huge.
He is. He's a big guy.
It's been fun watching.
And he demands respect.
Oh, my God,
yeah. He's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't want to tangle with him in a dark alley.
No, he's tough. And I think he'll do a good job with the Lions. I like him.
But
the Lions ain't going anywhere.
It's so sad to watch.
Jared, but I know. And it must be really gut-wrenching to watch your former team go to the Super Bowl literally the year after you leave them. That's tough.
It's weird. Exactly. For poor Jared Goff, But, when they won that preseason game, I guess last week against Indianapolis, and they were just they were way too happy. They were way too happy to win a preseason game. And it kind of shows you, the expectations are pretty low in Detroit. We got to win this preseason game. Yeah.
LA now, you guys got 2 teams, and they're both really, really fucking good now. You got the Rams, who just won the Super Bowl, and the Chargers, they look like they're coming up in the world, too. I mean, Justin Herbert, wow, that guy can play, too. So the LA's in good hands now. You had no team, now you got 2 teams in a badass stadium.
That's
so
true.
You gotta be happy about that.
Yeah, very happy, absolutely. And the Chargers have always been, I live in San Diego, so I live around a bunch of very upset, disenfranchised Charger fans who are, burning their Dan Fouts jerseys out in public parks. So they're, Charger fans around here, they hate the Chargers. They hate that they've got this, this new stud at quarterback, and they've got some weapons. And all of my friends around here, they're sick that the Chargers that basically, Spanos is doing well with, this up and coming franchise.
Yeah, they definitely turned it around, and they don't have to rely on Phillip Rivers to lose in the playoffs for him anymore. So
that's right.
Should be good.
or Ladainian Tomlinson. Where's LT? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's rough.
it's
But
it's rough.
the Charger fans around here have been giving me shit for so many years. Fuck them. I fuck it. Like
I love
I
it.
love, I relish in their misery. So.
Yeah, you pop your jersey when you see them.
Uh,
You're like, Super Bowl right
After the
there.
Super Bowl,
Have you got a
yeah,
jersey?
I do. I can't. There's actually a bar here in San Diego I can't go into anymore because I watched the Super Bowl there, and I just went
Yeah.
bananas. I went nuts. I went crazy. I went crazy when Aaron
Yeah.
Donald made that tackle to the point where everybody in the place just stopped and was staring at me, and I just couldn't stop
Yeah.
screaming. So I can never go back into that bar ever again. So
Oh,
but
that's all right. Well, it must feel good to win then, especially when you stop everyone when the record drops and the music stops and everyone looks at you. You know you're in
Yeah,
the wrong place
that's
for
right.
celebrating.
Absolutely. Yeah, when the Rams won in '99, the '99 season, I put a $5 bet in preseason that the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl. I was in Vegas, and I had them at
Oh, nice.
120 to one, and they
Wow.
were the worst team of the 1990s. I mean, that was their.
Yeah.
And I was in Vegas, so I'll put a few bucks on the Rams to win the Super Bowl. Rodney Harrison takes
Yeah.
down Trent Green. All of a sudden, okay, who's this? And I did this preseason,
Who's
right?
Kurt
Yeah,
Warner, right?
who the hell is Kurt Warner? And the guy is like my hero. I mean, Kurt Warner. We were talking
Oh,
about that earlier. That
a
guy, a
legend.
legend. That guy is absolutely everything a legend should be and is. And yeah, that was an amazing season. So I've been a Rams
Yeah.
fan my entire life. I've gone through the ups and downs. Went to going to games as a 6-year-old kid and seeing 75% of the stadium root for the other team. I grew up with that. I grew up with that.
Yeah.
We had a few good years,
Yeah.
but um,
You had Eric Dickerson. You had a few good players, but they just never were quite good enough to win it all. But man, this year or last year, I guess they just had the right team at the right time, and they what a win! Wow, and Matthew Stafford was the difference too. But I'll tell you what, that play, and you must love this play, was when Cooper Kupp got open against Tampa Bay when they were coming back on him, and the NFL loves to make Tom Brady. They just give him every call like he's Michael Jordan. And it's like, oh, here we go, not again. I don't want to see this bullshit. And then he got open, and you must have been screaming on that play too.
I was going nuts, man. It was all, the playoffs. I mean, because every week, Arizona, I mean, you don't know what Kyler Murray is going to do. And the Rams were able to win by 10 points in the divisional round and then the wild card round, and then going against Tom Brady, who's been a Rams killer. I mean, he's a Ram killer. And seeing Brady come back and yeah, it was like now the real Rams have to step up. Now, okay, let's see what this team is capable of. And then the following week, going against the Niners, Garoppolo, who I'm so happy. I mean, I'm so happy he's not. It sounds like the Niners are going to go with.
Moving on.
Yeah, they're moving on from Garoppolo. Thank God.
Trey Lance. Yeah.
Trey Lance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because Garoppolo was just a thorn in the Rams' side. That guy could pick the defense apart. He got rid of the ball quickly. He just picked the defense apart. He didn't have to rely on the long ball. And year after year, I just got tired of seeing Garoppolo. Everybody bag on him, what a horrible quarterback he was. Come back and he'd put a whooping on the Rams, and So the playoffs last year was just one big blur, and I think those poor people in that sports bar when the Rams won the Super Bowl watching me lose my fucking mind. I think I need to issue a public apology to them for for scaring all the children in that place. But
Scaring the children, I love it.
Yeah.
Were you wearing full Rams outfit, or were you just normal?
I was. I have a leather jacket. I have like this full leather jacket. It's a Rams jacket, and I had my hat, and then I have this Marshall Faulk jersey from 2001. That's the old, gold and dark blue.
Yeah.
And after the last game of the season, when the Niners beat the Rams last year to go to the playoffs, I was wearing that jersey. I took the jersey off and I gave it to my neighbor. And I was like,
Oh
this
wow.
is the
Okay.
unluckiest jersey. Every time I wore this jersey, the Rams lose. So I gave it away,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Oh well, there you
but
go. Now the fortunes have changed.
yeah, sometimes
Good
uh,
work.
you know, hey, superstition, right? We're all a little superstitious. I'm a little stitious.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Well, I was going to ask you a few other questions about players, but I think we've covered it. Allen Robinson, Bobby Wagner, great additions. Cam Akers, you think he's going to bounce back, or what's going on with that guy?
I do. I mean, if he stays healthy, right now he's questionable, but you got Daryl Henderson, and he's a real good quarterback. I mean, a real good running back. I mean, the guy, I mean, he's smaller, he's faster, and I don't know if he can protect on the backside like Cam Akers can, but he's not a bad backup by any means. I mean, they were split in time
No,
last
that's good.
year. They've got a new kid there, but I think Cam Akers is going to be fine. Maybe they'll utilize him more coming out of the backfield and those type of plays, and let Daryl Henderson try to pound it up the middle. But I think the Rams running game might be the sleeper on this offense. Maybe they'll. I mean, you got a really solid
Yeah.
offensive line. I mean, Joe Noteboom moving over to left tackle. Whitworth is out. Whitworth, was always a great player, but in the last 2 years, just showing that age. And the fact they moved Noteboom over, I was really excited about that because he is a very good left tackle. And they've filled up the middle. They got Edwards. They've got Havenstein on the right side. Rams are going to have a very solid offensive line, which obviously it's all about line of scrimmage in the NFL. I don't care if it's Tom Brady or if it's Geno Smith. You know, you got to have a good offensive line.
I hear you. Well, look, Wentworth was a legend, right? I mean, that guy was in his 40s, and he's still playing. That's hard to do as an offensive lineman, and he went out on top. He won the Super Bowl and retired. What a legend. Um, and Akers, man, how good is modern medicine? Didn't he have a torn Achilles, and he came back by the end of the year? That's insane. I thought that, I mean, that used to be a career-ending injury, and he comes back and still contributes a little bit, so he should be much better this year. And now the guy you said, Henderson, he should be good. So, yeah, hopefully they get a running game because that'll make him that much tougher. Because if he doesn't have to throw the ball all the time, and I do think your new addition, Allen Robinson, is probably going to get a lot of looks because everyone knows Cooper Kupp is so good now. They're probably going to double team him, make it harder, and Allen Robinson should have a lot of opportunities. So he might, I mean, he's never had a great quarterback to throw to him.
Right,
And now you got
absolutely.
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's,
So
you
he
know,
could be lethal.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then you have Tyler Higbee at tight end, and you can't forget about how valuable tight ends are in this league, right? I mean, you got
It's a
Tyler.
tight end league, isn't
It
it?
is absolutely, and that's you know, Higbee can pick up first downs all day long, and I'm totally happy with that because when Higbee has a good day, the Rams usually win.
They're going to be tough, man. They could win it again. I mean, is the Super Bowl hangover real? Are they gonna kind of step back a little bit, or are they gonna still be hungry? You still
Well,
got Aaron Donald. Thank God he
yeah,
didn't retire.
yeah, you still, yeah, right. No, you still got Aaron Donald ripping helmets off in preseason, so
Yeah,
I
he's
think
ready.
I think that was all kind of a PR stunt of him retiring.
It seems like it.
But no, I think that they are hungry. I think, but we'll see, man. I mean, this league, it's a tough league. It's a tough, division, right? I mean, you don't know
It
how
is
Trey
tough
Lance is going to
division.
play or Seattle. I mean, I know they're rebuilding, but they've always given the Rams, a challenge. But I don't know. You got the Seattle, you got Geno Smith, or you got Drew Lock. I think those are the
Yeah,
two, and you know,
they'll be lucky to win games with those
yeah, I
guys.
guess you're right. I'm just trying not to be too cocky. Like,
Yeah, I get you. Well, you actually brought up a good point because I was actually going to ask you a couple of those things because I was going to talk about the rest of that division, so the NFC West. So you've got Seattle, which obviously is in a rebuild mode. You just speaking on it, Geno Smith, Drew Lock. They got DK Metcalf, so at least they got a receiver. I think they still got Tyler Lockett.
yeah, Tyler Lockett.
And then I can't name a guy on the defense. I mean, they don't have the Legion of Boom anymore. And you let Russell Wilson leave and go to Denver. So I've never seen. Have we ever seen such good, talented people leave where they're at and go to other teams like they are now? So I mean, the whole league is stacked with talent now.
Right.
I
Yeah. You
mean,
get
the NFC West, powerful, and the AFC West.
yeah.
They're like
Absolutely.
a couple of balling out. I mean, other than Seattle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, well, the AFC West, I mean, that's always been, in my mind, like the funnest division to watch. With the Chargers and
For sure.
the Raiders and Kansas City and who am I forgetting? Fucking the
Broncos.
Broncos. There you go. And now the Broncos got Wilson. We'll see what happens with Russell Wilson in Denver, but
Mr.
yeah,
Unlimited.
right. see, see if he's still got some youth left in those legs. But Derek Carr and the Raiders, man. I'm Devontae Adams. I mean, that's going to be. I have
That's a
always
huge pickup.
yeah, and I've always been a Derek Carr fan. I mean, even at Fresno State, and he's not had the best managed career, I don't think. He just hasn't had the weapons or the offensive line to really showcase his abilities. But I think Devontae Adams, that's going to make a big difference. The Raiders,
Big time.
I think they strengthened their offensive line in the off season, and we'll see what they got the stadium there in Vegas, and they'll be fun. But yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see a team in Vegas,
It
actually.
is, yeah, it is. I mean, driving to Vegas, you drive under the shadow of the stadium that's built like 5 feet off the freeway. It's really funny.
Okay.
What about KC?
Nice.
What do you think about KC?
I think KC's
Yeah.
I think people are sleeping on Kansas City. I mean,
Really?
they got
Yeah.
such a dynamic offense. I don't think their defense is that great, but they picked up a few guys,
Sure.
and they still got Chris Jones. That guy's a beast.
Yeah.
I saw him on the preseason. He looked like he was twice the size. It just looked like a monster running
Yeah.
after the quarterback. I was like, look at that guy. Jeez,
Yeah.
that's Chris Jones. I was like, has he added like 30 pounds? Like, he's enormous. So he looks big. And if Frank Clark can bounce back,
Right.
I think they added someone else on the defensive line, and then they changed over, what was his name? The Honey Badger. They brought a different guy in and they let him go.
Okay.
Hopefully he's just as good.
Okay.
Because Honey Badger's getting kind of old, but he's a great player. I'm surprised they let him go, but they couldn't pay everyone. They let Tyreek go. Everyone's bitching,
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, how could you do that? But they couldn't pay that guy
No.
that kind of money
Right.
and still keep everyone else.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Tyreek is he's going to suffer in Miami. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Tyreek, but you ain't going to get shit done there. You just left the greatest
Sure.
throwing,
Totally.
well, not the greatest,
Yeah.
but one of the
Right.
best arms in the league.
Absolutely.
Who suits your skill set perfectly,
Right.
and you're not even truly a number one receiver. You drop a lot of passes,
Right.
And now we got Juju Smith-Schuster,
Yeah.
you got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, you got Sky Moore, the rookie, you got Merkel Hordman, you got Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
If they have any kind of running game, which they never seem to do, then they're gonna ball out on offense.
Sure.
And, and Patrick Mahomes had a down year, and he still had like 37 touchdowns and almost 5,000 yards, and that was a down year for the guy. So I
Absolutely.
think ultimately they'll win out. If anyone's going to beat them, it's going to be the Chargers in my mind, because on paper they look incredible. They added J.C. Jackson, they added Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack.
They've got they got offensive line
Yeah.
help. Justin Herbert,
Right.
Keenan Allen. I mean, they're freaking, and they got, what's that other guy? The free safety. He just got paid. I can't think of his name. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
they look unbelievable on paper, but the Chargers always get hurt.
Yeah, they do.
Always something.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they seem to be
Yeah.
luck struck in the wrong way. So
Some teams are just
and
cursed
then
like that.
Denver, it's his first year there. I'm not expecting him to win the Super Bowl, but they'll be a lot better than they were with Drew Lock or whoever the hell was there last year. And the Raiders are a sleeper team. They were on my list. They picked up Chandler Jones. They got that Crosby guy. Those guys are solid. I mean, they're going to get after the quarterback. And then, they added Devontae Adams, who's one of the greatest receivers in the league. So how can you not be way better? And they already have Waller, and they got that Hunter Renfrow guy, and they got a couple of good running backs. So yeah, it's going to be tough. That's going to be an exciting division. I just have a feeling the Chiefs are still kind of cream of the crop there, and people are sleeping on them. And Andy Reid's a great coach, so I just think they'll somehow either win the division or at least get into the playoffs, because that game against Buffalo was one of the best playoff games I've ever watched, that Kansas City-Buffalo game. Man, I think the Chiefs burnt out on that game. They just spent all their energy, and then the next game they just didn't show up quite as good. And whatever, Cincinnati, it was their year. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Kansas City's division to lose. I mean, they just have that winning mentality, and that winning, and that comes from the coach down, right? I mean, Andy Reid expects to win it all every year. And then you take a team like the Chargers or, like the Raiders, they don't have that killer instinct. I mean, they might be loaded with talent, but there's always something that kind of goes wrong with them. And Kansas City they just find ways to win. So I do agree with you there. I think, like what? I mean, the last, what are they, 7-time division champs or something? And
Yeah.
they just always, and it is a team mentality. It's like they expect to win. And I think they will. I do. I mean, unless Herbert has an amazing year, but I don't.
Right.
I mean, Herbert has Keenan Allen. I don't know who else he really has that's jumping off the charts. In San Diego or in LA, right?
True. That game though against the Raiders, what did he have, like 5 or 6 fourth downs that he converted? I mean, that guy can ball out. He'll make guys good around him. But yeah, they don't have the same offensive firepower for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. Good point.
Well, anyways, we should probably get back to the NFC West because we got off topic there a little bit. But what about the other teams in that division? What do you think is going to happen with the San Francisco 49ers? Like you said before, they're moving on from Trey Lance.
Or from Garoppolo.
Moving on from Jimmy G. And now they're going to have Trey Lance. Do you think he's going to be any good? Because the rest of their team's great.
To be perfectly honest, I have no idea. I don't know how Trey Lance is going to fit in there. I mean, they've, anytime you have Deebo Samuel on the field, man, that is one hell of a player. It's one hell of a weapon. And then you've got, the Niners, they don't have much of a running game to speak of. So it's really going to come down to, what they can do downfield. Again, I mean, I'm just happy as hell that Garoppolo is not, he's not going to be lacing it up as the number one starter because that guy, obviously, I was worried about. But, the Niners, they are a good team. I mean, they've got, a good defense. They've got a good offensive line, good defensive line with Nick Bosa, right? Nick Bosa. I mean, that guy's an animal. Again, last year, they were 3 points away from beating the Rams in the NFC Championship game, So, but that was with Garoppolo. I'm glad Garoppolo.
Yes.
I mean, talk about a team punishing a quarterback, like for almost winning the NFC Championship, right? It's like Nick Foles back in the day with the Eagles.
Right. Even the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, he was one throw away from winning.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what happened there. I mean, obviously they just don't like him anymore. They don't want him around, and that's fine with me. So
I know, I don't get it.
So bring in the new guy.
You got to be happy.
Yeah, right. But other than that, I don't see anything.
Who knows if Trey Lance is good.
Right. Don't know. We'll see.
I agree with you. The other thing is Jimmy G. I'm sure you're like sitting there like, hurry up and trade him because they still haven't traded him, which means he could still somehow find his way back. Maybe Trey Lance gets hurt and they're like, oh, we're going to keep Jimmy G. And then
I'll be pissed.
So hopefully you're right.
Then they're going to be playing in the NFC Championship game again. And I'm going to be like, fuck. Knew he was going to.
Yeah, like trade him to the Jets or trade him to Cleveland or get rid of him, right? Like,
get him out of the NFC altogether, please. Please. I hate that guy.
And then the last team that we haven't talked about at all, and I think they're a bit of a total mess right now, is the Arizona Cardinals. What the hell's going on there?
Well, okay, so you got, Kyler Murray, obviously a very good quarterback, but running quarterbacks don't last. I think they just cannot sustain what he did in his first couple of seasons. He's a great quarterback, he is, but you gotta be able to play from the pocket. And can he do that? And he's got Hopkins, right? His big wide receiver who's now suspended.
First 6
games. So he's out. They are kind of just a mess right now. Last year I was looking at it from a Rams fan perspective, and that they were kind of, they were a good team around the league. I think they're an average to good team, but the Rams always kind of seem to have their number. The Rams lined up against them very well. Rams could always, they would pull out close wins, blowout wins, but at the end of the day, they were wins. So the Rams,
Yes.
this year I just don't see Arizona really being much of a factor.
Nah, me either. I mean, you had that whole fiasco with him and his contract, and apparently he wasn't studying and he's playing video games, which makes him seem immature. And then he had to come out and defend himself, and that whole thing was ridiculous. And it's just like blew up bigger than anything. And then now he's got to deal without his number one receiver for 6 games. That's going to put him in a hole. He picked up Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, whatever his name is, from the Ravens, but I'm not totally sold on that guy. They lost Chandler Jones. They got an aging J.J. Watt. I don't really know about the rest of their defense, but you're right. The Rams always seem to have the Cardinals number. The 49ers seem to have the Rams number a lot.
Yeah, they do.
So you're happy
They
Jimmy G's
do.
leaving.
They do.
So they all like to punish
Yeah,
each other
right.
in the division
Yeah.
and make it hard for each other. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to struggle, man. I think they're going to struggle to win
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
Like they'll be 500. They might win half their games.
Yeah, yeah, and again, I mean, then you look at how good the NFC West is against the rest of the league, right? And like last year, the past 2 years, the NFC West has always been among the strongest division in football, and I don't know how that's going to work out this year because I mean, you got the NFC North that is really strong, or I'm sorry, the AFC North, which is very strong. You got the AFC
Yep.
West, which is strong. Um, but yeah, I think Arizona is going to have a real tough time facing teams. It doesn't matter what division they're in. Maybe the NFC South. I don't know.
And Kyler Murray, he's so little and he's so fast. He's like when someone asks you to watch their kid and he's like that super little quick kid that you can't quite get your hands on. You have to threaten him because you can't catch him. He's like that. He's super elusive, but when he gets hit, they just love to punish him, and then he always breaks down at the end of the season.
I know.
Like people want to hurt him. They
Right.
just want to hurt him
Yeah.
bad. And I don't think
Yeah.
that bodes well for him if he doesn't start sticking in the pocket and
Right.
stop running.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of like RG3 and
Yeah.
Kaepernick and these quarterbacks that were
Yeah.
so lightning fast and they were just lighting it up. But as soon as defenses started to figure that out, to keep that one inside linebacker at home, and they would just sit there in the
Yeah.
middle of the field, just staring straight at the quarterback.
Quarterback spy all
The
day. Right?
quarterback
Just don't get him out of your
right,
sight.
and then that yeah, you lay the pads down on a running quarterback. They start to.
Oh,
I mean,
it must feel
right,
good.
exactly. Absolutely.
Get him? It must feel so good because he's fast.
Right.
Cardinals aren't going to do shit this year. Sorry, Kyler, but it's not your year. Well, moving on, I thought we'd go through the Rams schedule this year, and you tell me, and we'll figure out how many wins and losses this year. So if we go week 1, you got the Buffalo Bills. You getting a win there?
In Buffalo,
I believe so.
like
That's the only
like
thing
it matters.
Didn't have. I don't know if it's at. I think it's at home.
Is
I'm
it?
not
I
sure.
think
Could
yeah.
be right. Sunday night.
Sunday
Football.
night football probably at SoFi. Win. I'm gonna say win.
Okay, got a win there. We got the Atlanta Falcons.
Win.
Week 2.
Win.
Yeah, I think so too. Cardinals.
Win. Win. Definitely.
Win.
Yeah.
49ers.
See, I would say win, but this would be kind of the type of game the Rams would lose. And I hate to say that because they're probably going to kick the shit out of them, but the Rams
Yeah.
could lose that game just because it's the Niners, just because of this. They just you just never know, and that would be the type of game the Rams could lose. So just so I'm not going to go down the list winning the entire season out. Okay.
Yeah, you can't win them all,
Right.
right? So we'll say loss there. And then you got week 5 at the Cowboys.
Oh, win. Yeah.
Win, definitely win there. Then you got the Panthers, good old Baker Mayfield.
Win.
Gonna win that one.
Win. Yeah.
Win. You got a bye in week 7. Come back, face the 49ers again in week 8.
Win. They'll beat them the second time.
Get
Yeah,
payback there?
payback,
Okay.
yeah.
Second time they
Mhm.
get them. Then it's week 9 against the Tom Brady Buccaneers.
That's going to be a good game. Um,
Yeah, well.
So Gronkowski retired, right?
For
For
now.
he could be playing.
You got the speed dog. Tom can call him up halfway through the playoffs and be like, come on, play.
Okay, Tom.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to say win. They're going to beat. Yeah.
Win. All right, I like it. I like the confidence. Then you got Cardinals week 10.
I'm going to say they lose to the Cardinals week 10.
They
Yeah.
lose. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds about right. I mean, you can't win them all. Let's see, Saints in week 11.
So the Saints are an interesting team. I'm going to say win against the Saints, but again,
Win.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's when you get these teams that the Rams haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of, like Carolina, like they're playing NFC South. You just never know how they're going to match up. I mean, Jalen Ramsey can only do so much in the backfield on defense, but I would say New Orleans, I could say they could lose to New Orleans.
Say loss? All right. Because, I mean, they're a mystery. I mean, they got Jameis Winston coming back. They got Thompson. Is he going to play or not? Who knows? They got a good defense. They always seem to have Tampa Bay's number. I don't know why. They can always beat Tom Brady, but yeah, they could definitely rise up and win a few games. So then you got week 12 against the Kansas City Chiefs. Are we going to win that one?
Yes. They will win that game.
Going to win. All right.
Yeah.
They'll beat them. Okay. Week 13 against the up and coming Seahawks.
Oh yeah, they'll win. They'll win out on the Seahawks. They are, because they love to beat them. They love to beat the Seahawks. They love to beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Then we got the Raiders in week 14.
They'll win. They'll win against the Raiders.
Win that one. Then you got Packers week 15.
Yeah. I'm gonna say. Gosh, I just don't know how, Aaron Rodgers is such a mystery, right? I mean, I could say that would be a game they could lose.
Yeah. All right. We'll go with a loss there. Broncos week 16.
Win. They'll beat the Broncos. Yeah.
Win. They'll beat Russell.
Yeah.
All right. Then you got to finish out the season against the Chargers in week 17.
That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a fun game. I'm going to say they're going to win, but it's going to be a close. It's going to be a close game.
It's going to be a close game.
Yeah, it's a battle for SoFi.
And then with a 17-game season, we got week 18 against the Seahawks to finish out the season. That's a great way to finish the season, by the way.
And they'll win. They'll
punish them, right? By like 40 points, so they can get ready for the
totally.
playoff.
Yeah.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You got them at 13 wins.
Okay, 13-4. Yeah.
It's doable.
Yeah. I think that's.
Yeah, that'd be right. 13.
That's
4.
realistic.
I think my math's right. I don't know. It sounds
right. The 17-game season now, right?
17-game season. That's it. It's a bit longer, which is great for records and stats and things. It makes you look better because you get that extra game, but it's probably punishing on the players. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do about they've only 3 preseason games now, so, and then a 17-game season, so a little bit different, but same stuff. But yeah, so they got a tough schedule. It's so 13-4. You heard it here first. Rams are going, and we'll check back on a later show, and we'll see if you're right.
I'm looking forward to it. That'll be fun.
Hopefully, we'll see them in the Super Bowl. Maybe it'll be Kansas City.
Maybe
the Rams in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely, that would be awesome.
That would be super exciting. Yeah, it would. And then you got trades and injuries and things that happen. They might still pick up other pieces, other players. We just don't know. That's what's exciting about football. It all keeps changing. Things catch up. I never saw Cincinnati coming last year.
No, I didn't either.
And look at them. They made it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and
they'll probably be better this year.
Yeah. They DeMar Chase and, they were. How good was that? He just, came up absolutely huge. And Joe Burrows, I don't know.
One of the two. Joe Cool. I call him Joe Cool because he's always doing the cool stuff, and he's back from the appendectomy. I saw he had appendicitis or ruptured appendix or something. So hopefully he comes good and adds some weight back on because that stuff never is fun going through surgery. But man, he picked up another offensive lineman. I think they picked up some more this year. So we got a better team, and they went all the way last year. So I'm shocked.
Yeah, they were.
I didn't see DeMar Chase being that good.
I know, right? The chemistry just clicked, right? I mean, they were one of those teams nobody saw coming because their chemistry just evolved throughout the season, and then they started believing in themselves, right? They started believing that they could win these games, and they did. And I mean, good for them. I mean, that was. But I think you talk about the Super Bowl hangover. We'll see how they respond to that success. The Rams had been successful for a few years, got used to
Yep.
that, and the Rams went through their Super Bowl hangover back in 2019 when they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots. I could see Cincinnati kind of maybe going through something like a Super Bowl hangover.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll get back there. That's a tough. AFC is tough this year. You got to beat the Bills. You got to beat the Chiefs or the Chargers. Somebody's going to be in there, and that's going to be a tall task. So we'll see. But maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, man, that guy's a good quarterback. I mean, two years in the league, he already made it to the Super Bowl, and he had a blown knee the first year, and like literally no offensive line last year, and he still took them all the way. So wow, pretty impressive.
Yeah, really
He's a
is.
good quarterback.
I'm curious to see how Buffalo does. Buffalo, I could see them in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, it's gonna be a fun
Yep.
season. Yeah.
It is. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know if you've got time, but did you want to go through the NFC quickly,
Sure.
and we'll just see who you think is going to win each
Yeah,
division? So
absolutely.
we'll start with the NFC East. You got New York Giants. Their under/overs at 7.5 games. You think they're going to do anything this year?
I don't. I don't see the Giants doing much. I would probably go over because I think they'll probably win 8 or 9 games. But so NFC East. I mean, they've got the Eagles. They've got what they've got Philadelphia.
Eagles,
Yeah,
Dallas, and
right.
Washington.
And I think that's Dallas's division. I think Dallas is probably gonna beat up on the NFC East. I don't know. Philadelphia, they could be something. But the Washington,
We
whatever.
got Giants at 7.5, Washington 8.5 is their under/over. Philly 9.5 and Dallas 10.5. So betting books are putting Dallas on top. Do you think they'll win the division, or do you think Philly's here?
I think Dallas will win the division.
Dallas will win the division, and Philly might make the playoffs.
They could, yeah, probably. I like as a wild card. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Philly, right?
They seem to have more talent than Dallas, but Dallas, yeah, they're up and down. Who
Right. You
knows?
don't
I
know.
mean, I'm a Cowboys fan,
Right.
but they're worse than last year.
Are they okay? Well, you know better than I.
They lost to Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup blew out his ACL. I don't even know if he'll be any good this year. They've only got CeeDee Lamb as their main receiver and a bunch of guys I don't really know. They lost Randy Gregory, who was a really good defensive player. He went to Denver. They have Micah Parsons. He's amazing. That guy's a baller.
That guy's a really good player.
But beyond that, I don't know, man. I mean, I always think they're going to do. Last year, I thought they were going to do good, and they were shit. So my thinking is this year they have a worse team. No one thinks they're going to be any good. Maybe they're good this year because they're not as good.
Sure, and they also seem to play. They seem to play better when the pressure's off. When the pressure's on, they tend to buckle. And I'm Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, that guy, you never know what you're going to get from him. He's not what he used to be, but there's still Dak Prescott, and so I don't know. I mean, Philly, Dallas. I mean, I guess it could go either way. But what about Philly?
It's a coin flip. No, I don't know. Like I feel like Philly has more talent. I feel like Jalen Hurts is an up and coming quarterback. Apparently, he's super tough and like really buff, and he could be Dallas's kryptonite. I mean, I don't love running quarterbacks, and he's going to have to throw more, and we'll see if he can do it. But I mean, he's got better talent around him. I think he picked up what was his name from Tennessee Titans. They got AJ Brown. Is that his name? I don't know his name. Some fucking guy from the Titans. Their best receiver went to Philly, and then they've just got other pieces around him. They got Travis Kelce's brother at center. He's really solid. They have a better offensive line than Dallas. They got a better defense probably overall, like across the board. And they always play each other well in that division, just like all divisions. They love to punish each other in the division. So I think it's a coin flip, but I'm hoping Dallas will win it. But Dak Prescott is good for 2 games, and then he's shit for 2 games, and then he's good for 2, and you never know what part of the cycle you're on. So who knows which way it's going to go, right?
Point.
So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, so we'll say Dallas is going to win that division, but it could be Philly. NFC South, Atlanta Falcons, 4.5 games. You got the Carolina Panthers at 6.5 games under/over. Tampa Bay is picked to win it all at 11.5 games.
Wow, 11.5 games.
Yeah, 11.5 is their under/over. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And New Orleans is 8.5.
Okay.
So
I
What's your thoughts on that?
again, I think I like New Orleans in that division. I think this could be the year where Brady just feels the weight of his age, weight of the pressure. Not having Gronkowski, that's a big one. Not having, a lot of those weapons that he's used to having. I think Tampa Bay could completely melt down this year, and I would pick the
Yeah,
Saints to win the division.
I do too. I just have this feeling it ain't Tom Brady's year. He lost his center, Jensen. He's out for the year, or at least for a long time. That's a huge blow because Brady doesn't like pressure, especially up the middle. And if that guy ain't leading the pack, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do. And he doesn't have Gronk, at least not for the season. And what else? They got Mike Evans, and the other guy hurt his ACL as well, so they're going to have to rely on that new guy, Justin Gage. And apparently Leonard Fournette came into camp all out of shape and fat, so uh, they definitely kind of fell off after the Super Bowl and weren't quite the same. And I don't know if they just have all the pieces. And New Orleans has their number. I don't know if it's the coach or what happens, but every time they make Tom Brady look
Yeah,
terrible.
you're
And
right.
it's quite entertaining because fuck Tom Brady. I don't want to see him in the Super Bowl ever again. I want other people to win it because it seems like that everything's always he gets every call in the history of sports. I've never seen anyone get the call every single time. Like I remember when they played the Chiefs a few years back and they intercepted on him and they called D Ford for offsides and pulled the play back, and the Chiefs were going to beat him and go to the freaking Super Bowl that year, and they gave Tom Brady a call. Every time you can just never, until you wait for all the flags and wait for all the dust to settle, you just never know if they're going to give Tom Brady another shot because that guy gets every call in the history of man. Has he ever gotten a call against him? Ever. He even got the fucking tuck
The
rule.
tuck
I
rule.
mean,
That's
that was the
right.
biggest
Yeah.
bullshit call ever. So,
He's got a
fuck
point.
Tom Brady. He's not winning it.
No, no. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But I think he gets all the late flags. Like he'll go and they don't
Mm,
call, and then he whispers in their ear, and then they'll throw the flag, and it's just yeah. I mean, yeah.
it's
I do
annoying.
not like Tom
And I
Brady.
like to see other guys get
Exactly.
the yes. I want to see someone else in the Super Bowl. Anyone else? 31 other teams, just not the fucking
No quarterback
Buccaneers.
should be in the NFL for 35 years or however long he's been playing in the NFL.
It's
It's
insane.
crazy.
They
Yeah.
they've made the game suited for him. Like all the rule changes, it's all about don't touch the quarterback. I remember one year someone like whiffed his helmet and barely scraped their fingernail across his helmet, and they called him
Yeah.
for
Roughing the
roughing the
passer.
passer. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ, what is that? Yeah, I'm with you. New Orleans is going to win it. Tampa Bay will probably still make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to win the
Yeah.
division.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, and then the next division, NFC North, we got the Chicago Bears, 6.5 games under over. Detroit is at 6.5 this year. That's impressive. 6.5 under over for Detroit. Green Bay is 10.5, and Minnesota is 9.5. Who do you think's coming out of that
Yeah.
division?
I guess, I would have to go with Green Bay just because I don't know much about Minnesota. But, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's a solid offensive line. I mean, he's still got some weapons, even though they lost Devontae Adams. Um, but I think it's Green Bay's division to win.
Yeah. Okay. And you like Chicago at 6.5 games because man, they look god
They
awful.
do look horrible. No, under. I would go under with Chicago. Like,
Yeah, me too.
is that Mitch Trubisky's gone, right? He's
Yeah, he's gone. He's with
Pittsburgh. That's right. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's
Yeah,
going to make a
but I don't
difference.
want him to get a starting job either because I want Kenny Pickett to win it out. I don't know if you've seen this guy Kenny Pickett on Pittsburgh, but he looks like a baller, and he shows up. He's thrown no interceptions, 3 touchdowns, and played amazing in the preseason. And he's an older guy. I think he played all 4 years of college. So, and he used to play at the Pittsburgh Stadium in college, so he's already got that advantage. So they say he doesn't look good in practice, and they put him in the game, and he balls out. So I
Hometown
want to see
kid.
him start, not Mitch
Right.
Trubisky.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hometown
he should
kid.
be good. So Pittsburgh might be a sleeper team this year, actually. But anyways, we're not talking about the AFC. We're talking about the NFC North, and I think Minnesota's
You
going to
do.
win it.
Okay.
I don't know why. I think. I mean, I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan. But they do have that receiver, Justin Jefferson. That guy's amazing. He's going to play even better this year. They still got Adam Thielen, I think. They have that really good running back, Cook. He's a punisher. He runs
Dalvin
pretty
Cook.
hard.
Yeah.
And I think Dalvin Cook. Their defense is okay. And I just think Green Bay, I mean, I said in one of my earlier shows, Aaron Rodgers is a wanker. And he's talking all this shit about his receivers because he's basically trying to cover up for the fact that he knows he's not going to have another season like he did last year without Devontae. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit, and I think it's going to be a bit of miscues. I mean, you saw how bad he played that first game against New Orleans. They just worked him and made him look terrible, and then he got it together. But, like, I don't know. Maybe you're right, but it just seems like he's going to have some growing pains with all these new faces. They got Sammy Watkins. That guy plays about 3 games a year before he gets hurt. They got some rookie. I don't know who he is. They got a few faces. You still got Randall Cobb, but that guy's getting old. And I don't know. Aaron Rodgers took like a $50 million contract, or I don't know what his contract is, but he makes like $50 million a year. It leaves no space to go and get any other talent, and they really don't have a defense. So I don't know. I just feel like it's not his year. And this is the year Green Bay finally starts slipping and they lose the division. He'll make the playoffs and they might do something, but I think Minnesota wins it, even though I don't like Kirk Cousins.
Okay. I know. He's just a journeyman quarterback, I think, Kirk Cousins. Yeah, that's why, I mean, Green Bay, I just think that they always find a way to win as much as they need to win to get to where they want to go. Aaron Rodgers, it's kind of a push button he's a push button quarterback type of guy where like he might have a couple off games, but when he needs to come up big, he usually does. That's why I'm giving it to Green Bay in that division.
Fair enough. I mean, he is 2-time MVP. I talk a lot of shit on him, but he's really good, so I can't argue with you. We'll see. It'll probably be a coin flip again, and we'll see who fucking comes out on top. But yeah, so you're going Green Bay, NFC North. And finally, we get to your favorite division, the NFC West. I have a feeling I know who you're going to pick to win it all, but let's just do the under-overs. San Francisco, 9.5 games under-over. Arizona is 8.5. The Rams are at 10.5. And your least favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks, are at 5.5.
Wow, that's rough. I think that the Seahawks might win 4 or 5 games this year. They're going to be bad. The Rams are going to run away with it. They're going to go over. And then, the Niners, 9.5 games, they could win 10, 11 games. And then Arizona, what did you say, 7.5 games?
8.5. 8.5.
I don't think so. No, I don't think they're going to win 8.5 games or over 8 games. Yeah.
Yeah, Rams are going to win it. And if they didn't, San Francisco would sneak in. But we don't know if Trey Lance is any good. Maybe they are a sleeper team, and or maybe Jimmy G comes back and Trey Lance gets hurt.
Just to light it up
against your team right at the end. Yeah.
I know. I mean, that's
hopefully not. I wouldn't wish that.
That's the thing about the Niners. They could go 2-15, and their only 2 wins will be against the Rams. That's my nightmare scenario. But they always seem to play the Rams really hard.
Not.
And
they do. That's a tough division.
It's going to be fun though. It's going to be a fun season.
You're saying Dallas in the East. You got New Orleans in the South. You got Green Bay in the North, and your LA Rams in the West.
I do. That's right.
And then NFC Championship. The top 10 teams are Tampa Bay, Green Bay, LA Rams. Then it goes San Francisco, Dallas, Arizona, Philly, New Orleans, Minnesota, Washington. Do you think your Rams are going to beat all these teams?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
They're winning the NFC. They're at least getting to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
If not,
I'm looking for. I'm like Secretariat in the stretch of the Belmont, looking over my shoulder to see who's coming, and there's nobody there. How's that for an analogy?
I like it. I love your confidence. You could be right. Look, hopefully the Rams have a great season. I like them as well. So, yeah, it's either going to be the Rams or somehow, some way, San Francisco, because they seem to be the only team that can really give them a run for their money.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's one of those things. If the Rams are the top seed and they have to face the Niners in the wild card, the Niners squeak in, and you have that wild card round, and the Rams have to play them. Yeah, that's going to be a nerve-wracking game for me. If you have Jimmy G under center, I just don't know anything about Trey Lance because it could
Yeah.
be a completely different
No.
team with Trey Lance. I just don't know. I haven't seen him, but these two teams they get amped up to play each other. So, um, you know, but other than that, I just don't. I don't. From the NFC, I think it's the usual suspects, right? You got Green Bay, you got the Cowboys, you got um, kind of the usual playoff contenders. But last year, what you had Washington sneak into the playoffs, or Philly, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But yeah, I'm feeling good about going into this season as a Rams fan. Definitely more than I have in recent memory.
Yeah, you must do. Well, look, that's the show today. I've had such a pleasure talking to you today, Stan. It's been great
My
getting
pleasure.
your feedback on what you think is going to happen. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining Sport Brothers.